Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton here. I'm going to talk today about the disgraceful decision by the Parole Board to deny Charles Salvador Bronson, i.e. Michael Patterson, parole. They said that they did not feel that he had made sufficient progress. I mean, how much progress do they want to? He hasn't grabbed anybody in 5 years. I mean, come on. They released Gary Glitter, and what did he do? Straight back to offending. Listen, Charles Bronson has done more time than the Count of Monte Cristo. It ain't on this. I believe, that people who are concerned that this is nothing more than revenge should actually start a petition. There is a way to do that. Anybody here who knows how to do it, advise me, I'll have a look. And if we all sign this petition, I mean, there must be tens of thousands of people across the United Kingdom that can see that all that is happening here is that the state, that's the government, is seeking revenge on this man. Not specifically for any great injuries that he's done, but because he has not bent the knee to the establishment. He's run his own life, and okay, it's crazy, but that's Charles Bronson. I mean, he is now 70 years of age. He hasn't assaulted anybody or caused any trouble in the last 5 years or so. Why is he still in prison? Why is he still in top security? The parole board didn't even think that they could recommend that he be relocated to an open prison. This is some kind of strange decision-making process here. I suspect that the people who are making up the parole board are perhaps they have an agenda that we're not aware of. Is it to show to people in the prison system, you either conform or this is what you get? 50 years behind bars and no sight of release. Charles Bronson, I believe you should maintain your hope. I believe we should get a petition up. I believe we should petition the Home Secretary and say it is little more than an insult to the British criminal justice system to hold a man who is no longer a threat to society. I mean, the parole board didn't say he was a threat to society. They said they didn't feel he was ready to be released. How will they know? They aren't even going to give him a chance to try an open location in an open prison. Basically, what they are doing is extracting a form of revenge on a man who has failed to kowtow to the authorities. And he's done so with a sense of humour. I mean, alright, some of the stuff is crazy. It is, there's no doubt about that. But he hasn't actually slit anybody's throat, has he? He's not beheaded anybody. He hasn't mutilated people. He hasn't interfered with little children. He hasn't murdered anybody. 50 years in prison. That is an absolute disgrace. I'm going to look at see if I can find how to start a petition, and when I find out how, I'll announce it on here, because I believe that the people who think that justice is not being done should get behind the appeal of Charles Bronson and get him out there. People say, well, I wouldn't like him as a neighbour. Well, he isn't going to attack you. The only people that he's attacked are the people that have provoked him. You're not likely to provoke him. I'm not likely to provoke him. I don't provoke anybody. Other than having certain opinions that are not considered to be acceptable to the authorities. At one time, this is the God's honest truth, I may still have it, a file at MI5, because one of their MI5 officers was a friend of my brother's. He was a detective chief inspector with the Greater Manchester Police, and I knew him through my brother and through the fact that we were both studying law at St John's College in Manchester at the same time. Although he may have just been there to watch over me, see who I was meeting, who knows. And he told me, he said, we were I had a shandy, at the end of the thing, and he said, you do know we're watching you, don't you? This was MI5. I said, what do you mean? I said, he said, I'm seconded to MI5. And well, I thought that MI5 was for national security. There's people who spy on people. And said that's what they were doing with me. And my wife kept reporting that the telephone was being bugged. Click, click, click when you picked up the phone, and very strange. So if they thought that I was a threat to security, what do they think about Charles Bronson? I wasn't a threat to national security, by the way. The Prison Officers Association had spread a story that I was an agent of Colonel Gaddafi and that I was working for the Libyan Revolutionary Army. How stupid do you have to be to believe that kind of nonsense? Seriously, they did. They put that out. Hence, I got MI5 on my case. Seriously, it's in my next book, which I'm hoping should be published in July, but I'll have a word with Sean Atwood's the publisher. Ask Sean Atwood, he'll know. Anyway, I'm now going to read you a poem. I'm not going to sing to you today because I don't feel in a very particularly happy mood now that Charles Bronson has been denied his parole. But I'll still ding the song dinger because I'm going to read you a poem. Dedicate this to Michael Peterson, Charles Bronson. This is The Road Not Taken. And if he'd taken another path, perhaps Charles Bronson would have had a different life. But we all make decisions in life, and Charlie made his decision. Listen, if you're listening to this, Charlie, there's a lot of people out there that do not believe that you're being held for anything other than revenge, and the revenge of the system for you taking the piss. And by taking the piss, I mean snatching governors and various people and smashing the place up. They didn't like it. This is by Robert Frost. And consider this, Charlie, if you're watching. Yeah. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not take both, and be one traveller. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, but knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted I ever should come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere, ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. That has made all the difference. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I sincerely hope you're all reading my book. There we are. I'm busy working on the next one. I think I'm around about 51,000 words now, so it's going to be quite a book. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this little broadcast. Let me tell you, I'm extremely distressed for Charles Bronson. He should have been out. He should have been given a chance, and he didn't get it.